Recording in progress.
Ok. Ah. Alors, est-ce que tout fonctionne bien? So can you hear me? Sound is working well. Yeah, okay, good. Thank you. Okay, okay. 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 So let's start. So, so before starting, so what should I say? What can I say? Oh, I cannot do that. Yeah, so for people who are not, so for people attending this this course who are not in the WeChat group, so there is a WeChat group for this course, in which I will put the slides and the video of the course. So I don't know if I can put. Can I show the? I cannot show easily anyway. So if someone is not in the WeChat group, please ask in the Zoom. Then I will try to give you the code. Otherwise, so okay. So this course, so let's start. So this course will start. So I will write everything I say, because then people can follow only on slide. So this course will start by a summary of last semester course. Because as you said, it's written on Fusion category 2. And, so last semester course was one Fusion category. And I don't know, maybe some people attending this course did not attend the course of last semester, or among those who attended the last semester, maybe they forgot some basis. So it's good to summarize what we did last semester. So the course of last semester covered the book, tensor category, by Ettingoff, Gelaki, Nick Shish, Ostrich. So it covered this book up to subsection 4.5. So we will summarize what we said about discovering up to subsection 4.5. So this summary should take about 4 sessions. It will recall the main definition and state the main result. Without proof. So we did the proof in the last semester, but for this summary, we will state the main result without proof. So all the details are available on last semester course material. So slide, video, and the book also, the book itself, which is available online. Available online. Available online. So I will put, so let me put the link on the WeChat group. I will put the link where we can find the video, the slide, and the book of last semester. So I will put it on the WeChat group. So what's this one? So I have also a YouTube channel. So I put the video on the YouTube channel if you prefer YouTube. And now the book, I will send on the WeChat group the link of the book. Okay. So now on the WeChat group, I send the 3 links, one for the previous web page of the course of last semester, in which you have all the slides, all the video. You can also find all the video in the playlist on YouTube. I send, and the book, I send the link of the book, online book. See the WeChat group link. Okay. So please, very important, please ask question during this summary and also after the summary. In particular, if you did not attend last semester. So you can ask a question on Zoom. It's better if you write the question. And you can ask also on the WeChat group. So feel free to ask questions. Okay, so now, so when So once the summary finished, so when we will finish the summary, we will restart to cover the book, the above book, in details, so with the proof from where we stopped, so from subsection 4.5. The new slides and video will be available on the WeChat group on my YouTube channel and on the BIMSA web page, the new web page. Okay, so let me send you the link for that also. So the new YouTube channel. The link to the YouTube channel is following. Here. So you have to, so I just sent in the WeChat group, and the link to the new web page. The link to the new web page. The new web page, BIMSA web page for the course. New web page of the course. Okay. Okay. So I put 2 new links in the WeChat group. Okay. So my YouTube channel. It is not a BIMSA YouTube channel. It is my personal YouTube channel. Anyway, okay. So that's okay. So we can start the summary. So if there is no question about about that, about this, all this material, we can start the summary. So I will make the summary. So last semester we got 20 sessions. So I will summarize every session one by one. So let's start the summary. Okay, thank you. So summary. So we will summarize all the 20 sessions of last semester, one by one. So summary of last semester course session 1. Session 1. Okay, so now we can start. Okay, so so this course is about category. So so we need to recall the session one of last semester. We recalled a bit what is a category. So I will recall again briefly the notion of category here. So what is the motivation? So category theory is a refinement, or you can call categorification of ordinary algebra theory. So you have the algebra theory, and category theory is something a bit deeper, the refinement, the categorification. So we can make, in fact, this word categorification is really used in this theory. In fact, there is a kind of dictionary between notion of algebra and notion in category. Dictionary of notion. So algebra notion, and category notion. And this path is called categorification. So what kind of object? So for example, the notion of, so the most basic notion, the notion of set. The notion of set itself corresponds to the notion of category, basic. The notion of abelian group corresponds to the notion of abelian category. The notion of monoid corresponds to the notion of monoidal category, and we will introduce monoidal category today. The notion of commutative monoid. So commutative monoid correspond to braided monoidal category. And the notion of braided monoidal category, we did not introduce that in the last semester. This will be some of the new material for this semester. And you have the notion of fusion ring, But you have the notion of ring correspond to notion of ring category, but this is not too much used. In fact, people are more interested in fusion ring. So you have, yeah. And this corresponds to the notion of fusion category, which is the notion we are the most interested in. Fusion category. Okay. So you have this dictionary. It's good to keep this dictionary in mind. In fact, the definition of algebra notion are more or less easy, and the definition of category notion are more or less hard. but you should keep in mind that this is just a categorification of. So there is a kind of, there is something, there is a path, there is something logical to go from one to the other. And in fact, you can understand that there is no so much way to categorify a notion. So it's very natural. It's really natural how to define a categorification of some notion. And in fact, you don't have so much choice if you start from some new notion. If you want to categorify that, sometimes you have no too much choice to do that. Okay. So we will make a pause when. Yeah. After 20 minutes, we will make a 5-minute pause. Okay, so, so as I said, maybe we can remove that. Okay. So as I said, we will be mainly interested in fusion ring category in this semester. Today we will, so I want to recall the definition of a fusion ring, just for your information, but we will use it a bit later in the semester, but it's good to have this in mind because the definition of fusion ring is quite easy. So for your information, let us recall the definition of fusion ring. It is easy. But we will, yeah, we will use it later in the semester. Not now, not today, but so okay. So a fusion ring is given by, so you have a finite set B for basis, B1 up to BR. You have fusion rules BI. So you have a multiplication that given by this fusion rule. Sum for k equal 1 to R, Nij k bk, where Nij k is a non-negative integer. Positive, yeah, non-negative integer. With satisfying four axioms, and these four axioms generalize the notion of group. Okay. Ça a coupé. Super. Ça marche pas. Sorry for the delay. Je sais pas si je suis toujours connecté. Non. Okay. So I succeed to come back. So, okay. So that's okay. Okay. So I hope everything is fine. So tell me if everything is fine. Can you hear me now? Is right somewhere. I'm back. So nobody answers, so maybe nobody can hear me. So wait. Audio, video. Allô, allô. I am asking you are, if someone, can you hear me or not? Yeah, okay, thank you. Thank you. Thanks. Okay. Okay, so we can continue. Okay, so the four axiom generalizing group axiom. So we have four axiom for a fusion rule, and they are exactly generalizing the group axiom. Group axiom, you have associativity, neutral, inverse. And here you have the analogous of that. So, associativity, the BI, BJ, BK equal BI, BJ, BK. Neutral. B1, BI equal BI, B1 equal BI. And dual, generalizing inverse. For all I, there exists a unique I star, dual, with NIK1 equal NKI1 equal delta I star K. Delta is a Kronecker symbol. And the Frobenius reciprocity, so you have an extra Frobenius reciprocity. You need an extra assumption, an extra axiom, because in the group case, in the group case, in fact, the sum reduced to one element. You have G1, G2 equal G3, you have here you have a sum. And because of this sum, we need an extra assumption called Frobenius reciprocity. Nij equal Ni star Kj equal Nk G star I. Okay, anyway, so it's just a summary. So I already said that in the last semester. Okay, so okay, so you here is a definition of what is a fusion ring. And we will be interested in this course about fusion category. So to define what is a fusion category, we will need to categorify all this notion and all this axiom. So the first axiom, the first notion, set, as you said, set correspond to category. So let's write that. Let me write that. Okay. So to categorify the notion. So I take the example of fusion ring because this is what we are interested in, but this is just an example on how to categorify a notion. So to categorify the notion of fusion ring, we just, and I put just like that because sometimes it's not so easy, but we just need to categorify its definition. So set correspond to category, that we already know by the previous dictionary. Fusion rule. So we have the notion of fusion rule. So what is a fusion rule? Fusion rule is the multiplication. Multiplication. So it generalizes as a tensor product. The notion of tensor product. So this corresponds to monoidal category. Monoidal category. the tensor product of the monoidal category of. Also, monoidal category, you need also associativity and neutral. So associativity correspond to what we call the pentagon axiom. Pentagon axiom. And the neutral correspond to the unit axiom. And with these three properties, tensor product, associativity, pentagon axiom, and unit axiom, this corresponds to the notion of monoidal category. We will define in more details today. The notion of dual corresponding to inverse correspond to rigidity. So we are talking about rigid category. With dual. And Frobenius reciprocity. So Frobenius reciprocity, what is Frobenius reciprocity in fact? Frobenius reciprocity, you have the fusion rule, the fusion coefficient, and in fact, you can make, how to say, where should I write that? I will write that here. Here. So Mi equal Nijk Jk is called the fusion matrix. Fusion matrix of Bi. The coefficient of the multiplication by Bi. So fusion matrix. So what the Frobenius reciprocity is saying? This is saying that the Frobenius reciprocity is just saying the following. This is saying that the fusion matrix of a dual is the adjoint matrix. In the notion of inner product space. So you consider here the fusion matrix for the dual, and then you are just here, you exchange that and that. So it corresponds to the adjoint matrix. So Frobenius reciprocity is more or less related to the fact so inner product space. So in fact, this is related to K-linear category. And we will explain later. So and Nijk will be equal to the dimension over K of some of this dysmorphism, but anyway, don't worry. Ok. Oh, c'est pas vrai. C'est encore déconnecté. Ce truc. but I hope I am still online on my iPad. Disconnect on my. C'est relou. Okay, so we will take the pause here. I have another internet problem. So pause. So 6, 5, 2. So I make the pause now because I have a second internet problem. Okay, so what happened? Déconnecter. Okay. Ça marche ou quoi? Okay. That's okay. So maybe the problem. So sometimes the problem comes from the fact that people from another course try to connect to the Zoom. Some TA of another course try to connect to the Zoom. Then the host is disconnected. So okay. So maybe I am back. Okay. Okay, so let's restart. Just restart. So now, so okay. So you see, to categorize notion of fusion ring, you need to know what is a category, and you need to know what is monoidal category. And we will, at least we will, so we will recall the definition of category and some basic notion of category today. And if there is time, we will also recall the notion of monoidal category. Otherwise, this will be next session on Thursday. So, so let us recall briefly the notion of category and basic and basis and basic basic notion, basic property and basis. Anyway, okay. category theory. Basis and basis of the theory. And some basis of the theory. So this course, this summary here, this will be more or less what I did last semester, because I will just I will just recall all the definition, all the main definition, and there is no point to summarize definition. So I'm sorry for those who already attend the last semester, but only for this course, for the category theory, this will be more or less the same thing. But after that, when I will summarize the course 2, 3, 4, etc., this will be much shorter. But it's good to recall the basis. Okay. So, what is a category? So a category, so you have a collection. So, sorry. Plus some basic. Yeah. So a category. So you have a collection of objects. So an object will be denoted like that, X in C. So be careful, C is not a set in general, and X, so warning. C and X are not set in general. They are not set. C is a category, it's not a set, in fact. And X is not a set also. Okay. So a collection, we have a collection of objects, a collection of morphism. So a morphism, so between two objects. So you will call a morphism F between two objects X and Y in the category C will be denoted like that. So this is the morphism, this is the category, this is the for morphism and between X and Y. So it is denoted so this is just so you should not be afraid about this notation. This is just a set, and here we will just a set. In fact, in general, it's not a set, but in this course we are in we consider only what is called locally small category, and in a locally small category, the morphism between two objects form a set. This is the definition of what is a locally small category. Set, so this is just a set of arrow X. So you have yeah, and as I said here, so C is assumed to be a locally small categories. That's why we can call of the set of arrow. So you have object, morphism. Morphism is like arrow, object is like, so it's like a graph. So it's as for a graph. So you should think of category just like a graph. You have vertices, the object, and edges, the morphism. But we need some extra assumption. Plus some extra assumption. So again, my internet connection disconnected. This is boring a bit. Let's try that. I'm on my iPad. I guess my iPad is working. So wait a second. Okay. That should be okay. Let me check whether everything is okay. Audio is okay. So I choose to do this semester without. I choose to do not take TA because TA, teaching assistant, in such a course is only here to handle Zoom. And in my opinion, it's not the role of a TA to handle Zoom. I can handle it myself. That's why I have no TA. I did not take TA, but then I have to handle some technical problem like that. Sorry. So if there is a TA from another course who try to connect, please, you should wait the good time, otherwise there are some disconnection. This is not good. Okay, so as for a graph, you have vertices and edges. A graph is made of vertices and edges. Here you have object and morphism. Plus extra assumption. So the first extra assumption is about composition. So it's a graph, but some specific class of graph. So you have a composition. So you have an object X, a morphism F in C X Y, an object Y, a morphism G in C Y Z, and a morphism, an object Z. And the composition assumption say that if you have two morphisms like that, then you have a third morphism. G composed with F in this set between X and Z. It's like if you are in a graph, you have a vertex, another vertex, the third vertex, like that. It's an oriented graph. As for an oriented graph. Oriented graph. As for oriented graph. So you have a graph like that, then you should have an arrow like that. So it's a specific kind of graph. Okay, so this is composition. Next, assumption, you have identity. Identity. Okay. Identity. So identity. So just what I said about them. So last semester I had a TA. My TA was Amina, and she helped me in the. She really has a role of TA because she helped me to prepare the course last semester. So I wanted to mention that here. But this semester there is no TA which are really involved in category theory. So I did not take any TA. I have to handle myself the Zoom. But last semester, the TA I got was really useful to me at the teaching level. So identity. So there exists a morphism denoted IDX for all X between, so for all X, so wait. For all X, there exists a morphism denoted IDX such that for all F in C X Y, the composition of F and IDX is F itself, and on the other side, yeah, okay. So it's like, yeah. So you have, like if you have X, you have an arrow like that, IDX. And if you go to Y, then the composition, if you have a morphism F like that, first you do, and here you have IDY. First you do IDX, and then you do F. This is the same thing as just doing F, etc. Okay. So in particular, in this graph, every vertex has a self arrow, an arrow from the vertex to itself. Okay, then next, we have associativity. Associativity. So let me check the time a bit. It remain. almost 20 minutes. Okay. So associativity. So you have X, you have 4 objects and 3 morphisms. X, Y, Z, T. And F between X and Y, G between Y and Z, and H between Z and T. Then this implies, so then H, so the composition like that is equal to when you change the parenthesis. And I will not draw the graph analogous. I don't know if there is a good graph analogous for that. Tac, 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 tac. Let me see. So you have X, Y, Z, T. X, tac, tac. Y, Z, T. Y, Z, T. And then if you go, you first do, yeah, it's more or less like that. If you go like that, so if you do like that, it's the same as doing like that. So anyway, okay, associativity, and okay, so I hope everybody is aware of this notation. So for all and ill exists, but for maybe for people who are not aware of this notation, so just a small for symbol. Sometimes I use some symbol. So this means there exists. This means existence, and this means for all. If someone don't know that, okay. So when I said for all X, for all of F, they exist, etc. So these symbols are not this is not symbol specific to category theory. This is symbol specific to logic, mathematics in general. So now, okay. So now we know what is a category. So what about some basic notion in category theory? So first, basic notion. In category theory. Okay. Basic notion in category theory. Isomorphism. The notion of isomorphism in category C. So it's a morphism. So you have a morphism between two objects, morphism F, and F is called an isomorphism if there exists a G from Y to X such that so this means such that ST st min. So I will write st min such that. This is not just an abbreviation. This is okay. Such that. Okay, funny. Okay, such that I again have a disconnection of the main host. So wait, this is really annoying. This disconnection. Okay. So wait a few seconds. Okay. So such that I lost my where is it? Such that, yeah. So you have a morphism F between X and G. So this is an isomorphism if you have another morphism G such that the composition of G and F is the identity of X, and the composition of F and G is the identity of Y. So identity, like that, as usual, as you can expect, and the notation we denote like that. We make yeah, this is isomorphic. F, X, and Y are isomorphic. And you not like that. Okay. So this is isomorphism. And what about functor? The notion of functor. So I'm sorry for those who already attended the course last semester, but there is no way to make the definition of category and basic notion shorter than what I did last semester.